Hi, it's Danny. Welcome to this video, welcome to this channel, and if you're returning, welcome back. Deep gratitude to you for joining me today. So what are we doing today? What is this? Okay, so I was scrolling through Instagram doing my thug fizzle, and I saw a little clip of Sterling Inc.'s 2024 preview video to the Common Planner. Now, our girl Catherine is really messing with my soul right now because I finally got to the point where I accept, you know what, I'm a bullet journaler. I'm primarily a bullet journaler. Sometimes I crave a little bit of structure. Sometimes I see a pretty planner, I hear about the pages, I'm like, I gotta get it. However, I'm gonna stick to bullet journaling moving forward because it's been my go-to since I started planning, like seriously planning in my adult years, I guess. When I was younger, I had like, you know, the BS planner that they give you in college. But anyhow, so as I'm watching this video, she has a Common Planner, but it's in a passport size. And I said, holy crap. And then I was on Facebook and I saw Wonderland 222 is releasing an all-in-one planner. Remember, a long time ago, like last year, I was in a Wonderland 222 for like the first half of the year, and I was annoyed that the Wonderland 222 only has like, I believe it's 98 or about 100 pages of free pages behind the weekly, monthly tracker setup, and it kind of like, ugh, I wish they had it all in one because I don't like going into a second notebook. Well, look at God. I mean, so now I'm like, well, crap. I already committed in my head. I'm gonna be a bullet journaler. I'm just gonna have to find the right notebook. Blah, blah, blah. And then I thought about how I started or ended 2022. This is how I ended 2022. I bought all of the planners. You could see Wonderland 222, Hibino, I mispronounced it, Hibino planner, which was so hard to get. I had to sign up to some random Japanese website just to get this bad boy because it was sold out by the time I wanted to get to this. And look how many pages I got to it. What is it? 3 pages? 4 pages. Then we have my Dear Blue Trues, my Hobonichis, my Weeks, which is the English version. I just really wanted it because it's an English version and I really, really love the color. I went back and planned. No, actually I did not. This was supposed to be my, what my husband and I are watching planner, and I wasn't going to really use it. It was supposed to be by my bedside. That fell off in about January. Hobonichi A6, because you know me, I can't do A5s like that. And it became my gratitude journal in like April, and then it probably did not become my gratitude journal. Then we have Sterling Inc.'s Common Planner, which was supposed to be my main planner, and I did plan in it in December, a little bit in January, probably pre-planned a little bit for February, March, April. But let's get to the weeklies. Let's see how the weeklies went. There's January. I did something in January, and then it's blank, friends. Then we got the Hobonichi Megas because I always love a mega over everything else. And this one I set up. Like I have a pencil board, I gave it a little plastic holder, I have a little tie to keep it shut, back planned, and also took all the gratitudes that I did at the beginning of the year. I was also, you know what I forgot? I was also in a traveler's notebook as well at the beginning of the year, and I forgot to bring it for my little stack. I got to about April, thought maybe I could use some of the notes pages for a like exercise journal type situation, and I promptly, I had one bad week and I was just like, you know what? I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling the weeks. Then I was watching Ellie's Corner and I saw her talk about the Take a Note planner, and I was like, ooh, I could try it. And I didn't. Look at that, I didn't. And these are my bullet journals, which I have fairly used more than anything, my bullet journals. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 planners. 7 empty planners. Now, there are some people, and these are not even the full stack because I did buy another week's. I'm not even going to get into that. But 7 planners, barely used. And there are some people who are like, I'm going to repurpose it. I am not one of those girls. I am not one of those people who could say, I'm going to repurpose my book. It will literally sit on my shelf, just looking at me, staring at me like, ha ha ha, you wasted money. Ha ha ha. You could have spent this money on food or a cat toy or a present for your husband. Ha 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 ha. So I don't want to do this again. And if you're like me and you don't want to have a stack of half-used empty planners, and you're also like me and you can't repurpose, for the love of God, you cannot repurpose a book, I'm doing this video. So I thought about, since preseason is upon us, right? August is going to be Hobonichi month. Sterling Ink is coming out with their pre-sale in July. Wonderland 222, today is June 21st. Their pre-planning, their pre-sale for their 2024 planner has already started. I believe it was on Monday the 19th. So given that planner season is upon us, and I'm not mentioning every planner that's in pre-sale because I'm not necessarily interested in every planner. I don't follow every planner page, funny enough. I thought about, like, how can we, you and me, because we're in this together, right, figure out how to get the right planner. So I took notes. I'm trying to be more professional. This is my, okay, let me move this out of the way. This is my bullet journal right now, and I'm incorporating it as much as possible in my everyday. And I actually made a page because, you know, I want to be more productive in terms of putting out YouTube content and using the empty notebooks that I have. And again, one day I will show you how many empty notebooks I have, not just planners, but empty notebooks I have. And so I kind of want to talk about, and I'm going to put this to the side so you're not reading ahead, but I kind of want to talk about the things that we need to think about when we start getting tempted by these pre-sale videos and posts on social media. When we see on YouTube, even maybe somebody just saw the take a note and they're like, ooh, that looks interesting, but they already thought to themselves, okay, next year I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, but that take a note looks so tempting. So in case you're like me and you get easily, like, you have that meme where the guy is holding hands with one girl and he turns around and looks at the other girl, like, if you're like me with that when it comes to planners, let's talk about the things that we have to, that works for us. Now, I've established probably years ago, I want to say 2021, beginning of 2021, that I can't do A5s. So let's talk about the size of planners. Some people really, really enjoy a big, spacious, grandiose planner with plenty of room to decorate or to not decorate and to house as much of the year as possible. And that's cool. If you're one of those, just think about that when you're looking at new planners. Also, so size matters when it comes to planners. It does. Also, a lot of people are persnickety about the paper. If you take a look at all these planners, majority of them, aside from the Z-Quince notebook, boast. Oh no, and the Take a Note doesn't have Tomo River paper, I don't think. No, this is not Tomo River paper. I'm an expert. I'm just playing. I don't think this one has Tomo River paper too, but look at the grid. So there are factors to consider when you're thinking of the planner, like what kind of paper do you enjoy? Because if you get a planner and you like the layout, you like the size, and you hate the paper, or the paper is not compatible with the kind of pens you love to use, it's not going to work, and you're going to change your mind, and you're going to end up paying more money for another planner. So we have to consider paper, we have to consider size, we also have to consider grid, because I was in a Stalogy for most of the latter half of 2021, not 2022 though. I can't even remember what I used in 2022. I think I used mostly bullet journals and I was in the Z-Quince, but anyhow, the Stalogy has a 5mm sized grid, and I can't tolerate that now. Then I could, because my handwriting was big and ugly, and it still is pretty ugly, but I have been accustomed to a 4 and smaller grid. However, in this planner, the Hobino, a Hibino, excuse me if I'm mispronouncing that. Look at the size of this grid. You see this? You can, it's the smallest grid I've ever seen, and I could not stand it. I did not look at the grid size. I just saw the fact that you had 2 days. So it has a monthly setup, and then you get 2 days to write out. For each day gets 2 pages, excuse me. And I was so interested in that because sometimes I wish the Hobonichi had this, because I usually used my Hobonichis for gratitude, the A6s anyway, for gratitude, prayers, and things like that. And I was just like, oh, this would be great to do both. But then I started writing in it, and I was just like, ugh, this is awful. I hate it. I hate it. See, like, I'm wasting 2 lines of grid, and it's just like, oh, it's horrible. Because technically, if you put the 2 together, I feel like that's going to be 6-sized grid. It's just, I couldn't do it. So we have to think about the grid. We have to think about paper. We have to think about the size. Fundamentally, also, we have to think about the setup. Some people can live in like a weekly, let me use this one, a weekly scenario where, you know, people love the Hobonichi weeks for the size, for the paper, but also the fact that they like a weekly overview. Are you that kind of person? Do you like a weekly overview, or are you happier with just a daily overview? Like you have your months, so you could plan for your months, and then day to day you go into your planner. Now, when I was struggling, and I still am, I recognize and accept anxiety, depression, will be, and panic disorder. Unfortunately, these are all things that I'm going to have to learn to live with and cope with. And so sometimes when I am in very disordered thinking, maybe that's a little rude to say, but when I'm in my most anxious state, day to day works for me. So in my bullet journal, I'll show you, I was due when I was writing. Let's go to March. March was better than every other month this year. When I was in my, this was back planning, I could just totally tell. See, this is me actually planning the day. When I am in deep depression or anxiety, panic, what have you, these markers of my life, day-to-day planning works the best for me. If I see a weekly view, if I see a monthly view, I immediately start to wallow and spiral. And so for the first quarter of the year, doing a daily day situation worked. And I was in a little pocket size because I was thinking I was going to be more on the go. That didn't really work out that way. And also, I didn't find myself sticking it in my pocket as much and walking around with my planner. So that's why I started moving away from pocket size. But anyhow, by the time I got to the mid to late April, I thought to myself, well, I really want to keep my journal with me. I can't journal in this the way I want to. I wasn't feeling it. And sometimes it's just a feeling. My questions are very logical and practical, but you have to kind of go with what feels right to you. Because what feels right to you is something that you're going to be attached to, inclined towards, and you're going to lean into. So if you are anything like me in terms of like your mental status, you may want to consider a day-to-day planner to help not overwhelm you. And maybe you need a weekly planner so that you could be more prepared for the week, and that may ease your anxiety or sadness or what have you. So you have to think about what really works for you. Looking at what works for other people, it doesn't necessarily work. Because I adore Ellie's Corners. Please check her out. She's amazing. I mean, she has more subscribers than me, so it's not like she needs my recommendation, but I love her. And she was gonna take a note, but she was in the A5. And I know me, I hate A5 sizes. They come in A5 and A6. So I was just like, let me check out the A6. I love a little A6 baby. It's really cute. And I just didn't feel it. I saw the grid and the numbering, and like some people will just ignore the time grids and just write their list and just live their best lives, and I just can't do that. Which is why the Wonderland 222 did not work for me. this year. I didn't even go into it at all. I just remembered how much I enjoyed it. And sometimes that happens, the nostalgia. I forgot what channel I was watching, but they were talking about the nostalgia. She's been in a Hobonichi Weeks since 2016. And she put out a video saying that she's letting Hobonichi go. And maybe you guys have seen it because it was on my recommendations. And I thought to myself, how astute and in tune with yourself. That's a beautiful thing, because sometimes we hold on to things because it's nostalgia. And the thing about nostalgia is you're supposed to be fond of the memory and you're supposed to just let it the fuck go. And I've been doing that with the Hobonichi Weeks. I've been doing that with, my husband's messaging me. I did that with the Wonderland 222 because I didn't even bother looking at it. I maybe paged through it and was like, ugh, I didn't like the size, I didn't like this, and I didn't like that, and it's like it'd be half a year, I can't put anything in the back. Now that being said, I did order a Wonderland 222 2024 in a B6 size for next year. So how do I justify that? Well, here's the thing. What they did, they made the changes that I wanted when I was in this planner. And I also sometimes long for a little bit of structure. And while I'm enjoying my bullet journal and I'm enjoying the size B6, which is why I got the B6 in a Wonderland 222 for 2024, I do want to have a little bit more structure, and I want to kind of juxtapose like structured, functional, minimalist planning with my decorative planning. And I have been finding that my bullet journal has been more nostalgic. It has become a journal to me, and I kind of want to keep it a little separated. I'll probably be writing the same things over 2 different books, but 2 different books I can manage. So that brings me to kind of the sterling ink. Now, the sterling ink, the way Wonderland and Wonderland 222 and sterling ink has captured my soul is because of the Tomoe River paper. It's because I love the Tomoe River paper, and I love both of their grid sizes in both notebooks. So going back to the idea of letting nostalgia go, or letting the planner that works for you go, I am not going to, I don't think, I'm saying this now, I more than likely will not get a Hobonichi next year for 2024. I'm saying that now, and I may change my mind. I think part of me clings to a Hobo Weeks, but I really have no space for it. I've tried to make it work multiple times this year, and it just doesn't feel the same anymore. It doesn't feel right. And then she also said something in the video like, oh, there was, you know, in the planner community, you had to have a Hobonichi Weeks because, you know, you mostly get ignored if you don't use a Hobonichi Weeks. I was like, ew, I don't want to be a part of that. But it's true. I know my numbers on a Hobonichi Weeks videos is crazy. And that's YouTube logistics. And I think I use the Hobonichi. I know I used the Hobonichi because I loved it. It was right for me at the time. It doesn't fit anymore. And so why spend money on it? I mean, yeah, I didn't even get a 2023, you know, they have a pen every year. I've had every single pen for so many years, and I don't have a pen this year. And little by little, I'm weaning myself off the Hobonichi Weeks, the A6. Now, I have a little love for my heart for the A6, but I've used it for planning. There's a handful of videos of me using it for planning, but I'm not in love with it. I like it. It's cute and all. Maybe we could go on another date, but I don't want to see it regularly, if that makes sense. So, the sterling ink. Now, Miss Catherine, thank you. They both, Wonderland 222 and sterling ink, have used Tomoe River paper. That's my favorite kind of paper, hands down. Even though I use gel pens, I love that paper. Also, grid size is everything. Now, I didn't use the common planner last year because I was not feeling a weekly setup like this at all. And also, I got really intimidated by the blankness of these pages. Sterling ink is releasing, oh, she hasn't shown us the structure yet. That's coming out at the end of June. She's releasing these planners in different sizes. And I'm like, ooh. I don't know if I'm gonna do it though. I don't know if I'm gonna pull the trigger on that. I think first off, I'm created rules for myself, and that's something you should do when you're trying to figure out what you're going to do for next year. So my rule is I'm going to have a bullet journal, and I will always reach for my bullet journal. And maybe rules is kind of unsexy because confinement, but I feel like you could be the most free in when you have boundaries set. Wow, that's my therapy talking. So my boundaries for myself in terms of picking a planner next year, I'm going to stick to a bullet journal. I don't know what size I'm going to do it in. It's more than likely going to be in a sterling ink notebook because I love the paper. My watch keeps going off. Love the paper. So, and I have so many notebooks in there. I have my Sequins, I have my sterling inks, and I also have some Stalogies left over. So I have Cafe 6, may go into a B6 Slim. I don't know. But I know I need a bullet journal, so I'm going to stick to a bullet journal. That's one. Two, I want a structured, functional planner because my bullet journal now, as you can see, has become my decorative, playful, like, just reflective space. So another video, you guys are so inspiring me, this planner community is amazing, about reflection and how the bullet journal, that's a necessary component of bullet journaling, is reflection. And this has been a space for reflection, which is why I want to house my journal, my regular journal, in this notebook as well. Oh, this is Jenica's journals. This leather is everything. Check out Jenica's journals. I will link her stuff in the description box. But anyhow, so I want a functional space where I'm just functionally, minimalistically planning. I don't want stickers in this planner. And so I am deciding I'm going to stick to bullet journaling, and that's my washing machine. I'm going to do I am allowing myself to buy 3 planners for next year. 3 structured planners, not a bullet journal. I have notebooks enough. No more notebooks. So I'm thinking, like, I already bought a Wonderland 222 in a B6 size. I may buy another sterling ink. Excuse me. And I am thinking, what will be my next? Because I do like having a weekly spread. And I do like having notes to, like, make collections in the bag. Or do dailies or what have you. And I may not even use them for dailies. I may just use them for, like, general notes. And so the sterling ink will be the most appealing because it literally is blank pages, versus the Wonderland 222 has the grids, which I'm not that amped for, and then they have a place for the date. So I'm just going to buy 3 different planners for next year. I don't know what the third one's going to be. One's already Wonderland 222. The other one's going to be a sterling ink. And the next one, I don't know. But I know I need to be in a B6 size. I want Tomo River paper. I don't care if it's like off-white or super white or cream even. I may just buy a Hobonichi Weeks. I'm not sure. Or maybe just do 3, but have my notebook for my bullet journaling and just do 2 planners. I don't know. But what I'm saying is, the point of this video is to say, ask yourself questions. Go with what feels right. Be reflective of what worked in the last year, in the recent months, because, you know, everything's subject to change. Everything changes. So what has been working for you? Don't think about something that worked a couple of years ago. Now, technically, I did that, and it actually worked out that I should be in a B6 size for my bullet journal. But I'm already starting to think I may want to go into an A6 size for my bullet journal. I'm not sure. But feel things out. Work with what has worked in the last 6 months. Ask yourself what is appealing to you, what's sexy to you, what you want to see again on a regular basis. And let's try to stick with it. I want to complete a planner for God's sake. I have so many half-empty planners that I haven't used the entire year, and I kind of want to do that. And that's kind of like a mini goal. It's a silly mini goal, but it's mine and I love it. So anyhow, I hope this helps somebody. And I love talking to you guys because you guys will understand. If I try to say this to my husband, he'd be like, what? Just get whatever you want, Danny, we can afford it. I'm like, that's not the point. Help me decide. Anyhow, Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, do as you deem fit. Remember to question everything except your instincts, and I will be sure to catch you on the flips. Bye.